Hold on, Chad. I'm almost there. All right. Sorry, it took me a few minutes. A little later than I normally would be. That has a lot to do with what I'll explain here in a moment. Let's get to the office, shall we? As I probably break my mic. There we go. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Y'all enjoying your Corsairs? Because I'm sure it's out now, officially. Let me start off by saying, before we get into anything else, those of you who are like, please don't nerf the Corsair, they're definitely going to nerf the Corsair. Do not buy a Corsair because it's a beat stick. Am I the new host of IAE? Yes. Look at me. Look at me. I am Jax McCleary now. They don't have to. They're going to anyways. Welcome to... I'm sorry, I'm getting a little... been having a little cough, so I'm taking a little cough drop here. But welcome to... Office Hours. Office Hours is a live stream, what I do to Twitch and YouTube, where we kind of hang out and talk Star Citizen and other things like that. So if you take one look at this and be like, why is this 4 hours long? It's like, because it's a live stream. It's not a video. It's a live stream. We talk news. We talk lore. We're going to be talking a lot about IAE today because it's tomorrow, and I've got some other news updates for that kind of thing. You're naming yours the Skitari? That's a good name. Or the Skirtai. I don't know. Jazzy, welcome. Question, is it possible the cutter will be the LTI starter package they did with the Nomad? Yes, almost certainly. It's going to be a concept ship, and they usually sell concept ships, even directly flyable concept ships they sell with LTI. So, almost assuredly. I'd also like to point out, and rub it in Execute's nose, that I was fucking right. The only part I got wrong was about the size. I thought it was going to be about the same size as the Nomad. Turns out it was a little bit less, but I said it was like, you know, like maybe it's a Drake starter ship. I was leaning towards Drake starter ship, but I was like, the perspective is way off. And the answer is it's a starter ship. It's just big. Oh, nice. Thank you, C-Daddy. C-Daddy CIG is here. He just confirmed there will be an LTI option, which I'm guessing is going to be the Warbond version. Be nice, bub. Well, no, I mean, I get what his purposes were. Like, I'm not shitting on X for believing what he believed in. I just, like, I knew that it didn't smell right. There's multiple times I've looked at things, I'm like, that doesn't smell right. This doesn't feel right. Yeah, usually starters are $5 off. I would not expect the cutter to be $5 off though. Besides, I'm only gonna give X the business because he would give me the business if I was wrong. Hey, Tree. He did. I mean, I'm sure he'll say that like the CIG went back on their word again, that they're not getting a snub for the reclaimer. It's like, yeah, probably not. I'm sure they're going to swap out the snub cutter to be more something like my guess would be something more like like a drone bay or something like that. X, of course. Hey, Celine, how you doing? So, I've already shown this off. I actually have some better pictures on Twitter and on my Discord, if you want to take a look at that. But I do want to show off some of the painting stuff, as I always do. Those of you who are brand new, who haven't been here live before, or have never seen one of these, I do miniature painting. Like I paint minis, so I'm mostly Warhammer, but I do other things as well. I'm mostly trying to get through my Warhammer stuff. So I've been burning down through my Imperial Guard stuff, which is an important one as well because we're releasing, because the Dark Tide is coming out. It's already out for pre-order beta. And the fellas at the guys, gals, and non-binary pals at Fat Shark reached out and said, hey, you want some keys? And I was like, yes, I would like some keys. So I have 2 keys to give away. So we'll see how good that works. What did he do? I hear both people say Twitter is dead. I don't know what it means. I would assume, yeah, about $65 for the cutter. Oh, it's because I mentioned Twitter. It's on Twitter, but yeah, it's on other places as well. It's on the Discord. My Discord isn't dead. It's very active, in fact. But here we go. Forward a little bit. Standard. Did he just lock out all the employees? And of course, Tree's favorite, the medic with backpack. I did really good job on them, I think. These are probably my best mini guardsmen. You need to finish my Tempestus Force before I consider getting more guard infantry for my guard. Tempestus is always good. Tempestus is the bestest. Field amputations for everyone. I just came from your Discord. Talking about people like the one survive the world week of the World Cup. The entire Android team walking out, bleeding infrastructure tech so fast they can't even revoke network access to people that are fired, so the building access has locked up. It's going to be the biggest DDoS ever. Damn. That's interesting to hear there, Jaded. Mild. Oh, great. Gee, I'm not looking forward to getting rescued by Tree. Mild cold. We can fix that with amputation. Damn. Anywho, on the more positive side, IAE is looking freaking amazing. For those of you who are wondering about the floor tours, I'm going to be doing 2 types of floor tours. The main floor tour I will be doing is going to be on the Astro Historian. That floor tour is going to be pre-recorded, not the way I used to do it, but like an actual Astro Historian video. It's going to be a cheaper version of it. I'm not going to sit down and make a video every freaking day like that, because I just don't have the time or the energy. So what I'm going to be doing is filming. I've already filmed some of the pre-release stuff for Drake. I just don't have the Corsair or the Cutter, which I'll do on tomorrow. But I've recorded the audio for it. I wrote a script, or recorded the audio for it before I going live here, so I was a little late. I mean, after this is over, I'm going to go edit that down, plop it into a timeline, and then take some of my footage and just kind of place it over. It's going to be fairly basic. You're going to see images of the ships as I talk about with some like music in the background, as you well, the images like the footage of me filming the ships on the floor as I talk about the history of it. So. But I'm also going to be doing the same tours live on stream, which will be going on to the TheAstroPubLive. So I'm doing a little bit of cross-pollinating in the sense that I'm talking about lore on the TheAstroPubLive rather than the Astro Historian. But this is going to be a live thing that I'll do live with people, and that video will end up on YouTube after the fact. So. Do I ever sleep? I don't have time to sleep. Luckily, so the key is, and for those who are wondering, like, I can turn around a video. I can write a script, record and edit a video for the Astro Historian if I'm pressed, like a 10-minute video, in about 5 hours. But that's if I know the topic and stuff. And actually, the longest part about that is the writing. The recording is usually shorter. You know, it usually takes me about 20-30 minutes to record and edit like the audio. And then the editing itself usually takes about 2 hours. But the writing can take me 2 to 3 hours. When do I plan on doing the live thing? So for Drake, it's going to be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So Eastern time, 7 p.m. I will be live a little bit earlier than I usually am. I'll get together. You can come hang out and watch, or you can come join me on the floor and I'll do the walkthrough. And I'll be live streaming it here on Twitch and on YouTube. So that footage will be up there as well. And then I'll be doing that every day except for, I think, Thanksgiving. Let me look up the schedule real quickly so I have an idea. But then we'll watch the IAE here, or the ISC, because it's a pretty big one today. All right, so day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5, 6, 7. MISC is day 8. Okay, so that's November 25th is Thanksgiving, I believe. No, it's 24th. So it's Crusader. And then Robert Space Industries. So yeah, so it'll be a little bit like I'm going to release a video on every day up until Thursday. And on Thursday, I will probably stream, but maybe not release a video. And on Friday and Saturday and Saturday, I will do videos that'll be like a little bit later. So like the Crusader stuff will be released on Friday because each floor is open for 48 hours. So I'll release this Crusader stuff a little bit later on that day, and then the day after, still on the day, but just a little later. Then the MISC will be released at the same time, kind of like a day later, and then the Saturday will be released on Saturday, and then Sunday, which will be Robert Space Industries on Sunday. So. There's no wipe with this patch. No, with 3.17.4, there is no wipe, but there will be one for 3.18. Thank you, Glenn Wade, for enjoying my astronaut helmet. Enjoying the venerable helmet. Of course, those notes are screwy. They released it last minute. They dropped it because at absolute last minute they had to go no matter what. Imagine if this was 318. It would be an absolute clusterfuck. It goes to the 30th, which is Wednesday. How badly is the MSR borked? The Pisces doesn't work? They're selling freaking Pisces like that's one of the new ships they're coming out with. Oh my god. They're gonna have to do a hot fix. They're gonna have to drop another patch between now and when is Anvil? Monday. Oh, it's a character issue. Okay. Thank you, C Daddy. They need the old Pisces to injure you so the new Pisces can say something to do. Sleep is for the weak, yeah. But yeah, so the idea is that, and I've actually written, because that's why I did it ahead of time for these next 2 days. I've actually filmed all of Origin, or most of Origin. I think I have to redo the M50 because some jackass was deciding to be a little fuck ass when I was trying to film the M50. But I filmed all of Drake except for 2 ships, which I can do during my lunch break at school. And then my plan is to have this to be a little shorter because, you know, I got other things to do, unfortunately. Oh, no, it's like we say in Gundam community. Well, you done goofed. Squadron 42, Night Cobb. How does that even become a bug? Eject instead of standing? Eject instead of standing. Squadron. Back to check out Star Citizen after a year. I heard the Cutlass has a cute little baby. It does have a cute little baby. Check it out during the free flight. There's a free flight all this coming week. If you haven't played in a year, performance is fucking better. It's a fuck ton better. Like, easily, I would say 20 to 30% better performance. So if you have a decent rig, you will see the difference in terms of play. It's not perfect and it's not smooth enough, but it's a lot better. I like babies. Wait a minute. Yeah, 600i is also getting a rework. They showed off the final concepts for it in the IAE this year, so we'll talk about it a little bit. Is anyone a bit disappointed we didn't get a racing Pisces? A racing Pisces? No, I wouldn't expect a racing Pisces. All right, before we get to the IAE, I'm going to make everyone watch the Bezos ads. Enjoy it. Ads for everybody. We must feed our corporate overlords. No, Anvil doesn't have any racers. Not every ship manufacturer needs a racer, though. Is this some sort of peasant joke I don't understand? I don't see ads. I'm sad. It's because you're subscribed. finally something better on YouTube. Twitch is going the way of Twitter. It's slowly eating itself alive. So does it, no, but Anvil doesn't have any racers in lore. No racers in lore. Resubscribed at the right time. There we go. I think I'd rather be Crowshawed than Bezos'd. Yes, get Crowshawed. Question, will the Drake Cutter fit in the Carrack? I don't think so. The Drake Cutter is a thick boy. It is much bigger than most of the other ships. You know what will fit in the Carrack, though? The Pisces. The Pisces has been shown to fit in the Carrack. Thanks for that gift sub. Giving that sub to Phantom there, Pappy. You should be able to open the door of the well, no, you can't open the door of the Pisces because it's busted, yeah. The mule should definitely fit in the cutter, yes. And medical Pisces, exactly. You can actually fit the Pisces in the Corsair with room to spare. There's a Steve in the cutter. It's pretty big. Sounds like those TheAstroPub old strong boat commercials I remember. I don't remember that. Introducing the Drake Winnebago. It is. It's a Drake Winnebago. Let's look at the ISC so we can talk a little bit about it. Then we'll go over the ships that are at IAE and kind of talk a little bit about it. And I'll talk about my lore tours and what they are. Because they've become a tradition. A tradition! Tradition!
IAE is here, and with it the biggest showcase of ships and vehicles this side of the Stanton system. And over the next 2 weeks, we've got videos galore dedicated to the new ships being introduced, the in-universe companies that create them, the way that we make them out here IRL, and updates and reworks to some fan favorites currently in the pipeline. But to get things started this week, it's time to talk starter ships, why they matter to the overall scheme of things, who needs one and why, and introduce you to the newest making their debut in tomorrow's showcase.
The purpose of a starter ship is a player's first entry into the game that gives them that little taste of what the game can do.
It should be relatively simple, straightforward, easy to fly, and should provide access to as many different game loops as possible.
They matter in the overall scheme of things because everyone has to start somewhere, so why not start with a little ship that can do a little bit of most things.
Maybe start by fixing the starter ship CIG? I don't know. I don't know why they don't, and it makes sense to me, but I'm going to give them a rub.
Acceptably well to get you ready for the bigger universe. Even if you had every ship in the game, starships still have a purpose in that sometimes you don't want to risk your big value ships or vehicles. Multiplayer,
oh God,
or like finding people.
Fizzle Fuse, Fizz, are you here? I need Chibi Cuddy as the Drake Cutter. I need the Chibi Cuddy. make it small Cuddy.
Play with isn't always like that evident, and you might just feel like playing for an hour or so, and then a starter ship is perfect because you don't have to have a whole team to man it.
They're also fun when you're doing something like a 0 to hero run to get you started and on your way.
0 to hero
I don't know. Okay. So this is my only claim to fame. I was doing 0 to hero runs before they were cool. I literally, like, I don't think I started the trend, but I helped popularize the trend. Because I've been doing them since like 2015. So even if they're not referencing me, I'm going to take credit for it.
Is when people start out with one of the basic ships and try and work their way up using only in-game loops and in-game currency to buy one of the larger ships for a certain goal they set themselves.
I personally enjoy doing that sometimes because it gives you a new perspective on the game. When you first came into the game, maybe it was 5, 6, 7 years ago, the experience then is different to the experience now, so it gives you that reset and sort of relearn of the game.
I think you just made one hell of a good decision.
A lot of our
I'm pregnant now, chat. That voice made me pregnant.
current lineup of starter ships were developed back before our game loops really became a proper thing, and that means that we're in a really good position at the moment to introduce a
I thought your claim to fame was making lore accessible. I am, but I do a lot of shit in Star Citizen because I don't sleep.
modern starter ship that is set up to work with our modern game loops, and that's
You think Astro and Super Mac Brothers started it? I think I did it before Super Mac Bros. My earliest, let me go into my I think it's off. It's no longer like live, but I could find it if I need to. There we go. I'll pull it up here. This is from it's published. Hey guys, it's Paul, your space bartender at your space bar at the end of Twitch, the AstroPub. Guess it's also YouTube now. 3 years ago, 2019. Well, I wanted to let you guys know before this video started that this is from a series called 0 to Hero. 0 to Hero is something I do on Thursdays, where I take a very basic starter package and try to make it all the way up to I was tired a better ship. So what you're seeing here is PvE content, but it's PvE content with an account that I started with nothing but the base starter package money and the ship, and I've worked my way up to what you see today. So I wanted to give you some context to what this was, because otherwise it's like, oh, so what? It's an LN fighting a derpy AI. It's like, yeah, but it's an LN fight. Subscribe, hit the know if there's an audience for it. Again, this is just my way up to the top of what it's like to be a new player in Star Citizen. Something, you know, for myself, it gives me some kind of perspective on what needs to be done and all those other things to suggest. But also to help, I guess, new players now, like what they should be doing. So let me know if you enjoy this in the comments below, and enjoy the show. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me how young I was. See? I got it there. Welcome to Teacher Ship Shop. And my audio is so unbalanced. I mean, that's a change, but the biggest ship shop in the verse right now. So yeah, teaches, old teaches. But yeah, that's my only. I'm only. That's the only thing I'm going to sit here and go. I fucking did it.
That's where the Drake Cutter comes in.
That's how old that video is I was doing 0 to Hero before you could before you could actually purchase ships, and I purchased a ship for that one.
The Drake Cutter is Drake's entry into the starter ship market.
Wow.
It provides a well-rounded experience for one person to just go take on all that the verse can offer.
It's a ship that is very straightforward in the way that it's designed.
Yes, you may have been the first 0 to Hero. I was not the first 0 to Hero. I actually copied off of 2 other people, Flint and another person, and Greyhead Gamer, both who had done something similar before, but I think it was the first one to call it Zero to Hero. I think they all just called it something else, but I use Zero to Hero because I played a lot of survival games, and so that was something that I used a lot. So
it's designed to get a starter player from A to B as safely as possible while they do their starting gameplay loops.
You'll notice
safe as possible, blowing up a ship,
and the whole look of the ship and how it's built.
It is a flying box, yeah.
Really aerodynamic.
It's a box.
Bolted on and like put together out of like different kinds of metals, and like some are more rusty than others. It's using the Vulture VTOLs. It's also using that Drake signature cladding and paneling that's like bolted on top.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell this very quick story because this is a little bit of lore that I've been put together when I was trying to do the video for Drake. So there's something weird that's been happening to Drake. Drake has actually stopped using the Cutlass as its standard. Up until recently, Drake has always said, we're the makers of the Cutlass. But since the Cutlass, or since the Vulture was released in lore, they've been using, well, not since in lore, since recently, since Andon Arden took over, they've been using the Vulture as their go-to example of what a Drake ship is. And the Vulture is a heavily modified Cutlass. The original Vulture is based off of an experimental Cutlass called the VLT-3, the Vertical Landing Test 3. And it's a long story, but it got famous for doing they modified it with some salvage arms, and they managed to salvage some equipment, and it got pretty famous for it. But once the fame wore off, they kind of stored it they put it in a storage and never thought about it again. And then salvage suddenly became super popular because of a famous event that had happened in 2932, I think. And so they said, hey, we got that salvage ship we never fucking developed. And so they took it out and they redeveloped it. So the Drake Cutter is like, oh, it's like a baby Cutlass. No, it's a fucking Vulture. It's a Vulture. It's the child of the Vulture and the Cutlass. But the Cutter is an attempt that doesn't like its dad's reputation. It just wants to go live at mom's house. Okay, that's what the Vulture, the Cutter is. It is a perfect example of modern Drake in terms of lore. You can actually see the change that's happened with Drake over time. So, yeah, it's got basically the mule cockpit, which was, again, the mule is part of that. Like, Andon Arden's really trying to emphasize that Drake is for the people, but also isn't combat oriented. All of the ships that were released under his banner have not explicitly been combat ships, which is the Kraken, which is they kind of mentions kind of like a mobile base, as an enterprise ship, as an endeavor ship that you can, multiple different versions, the reasons for it. They do have combat footage and stuff like that. It's like for like defense, but yeah. Then you've got the Corsair, which is a exploration ship. You've got the Mule, which is a cargo loader. And now you've got the Cutter, which is a cargo ship. Like, they're doing the Drake thing where it's like, it's not really for combat, but it's for combat. But it's still you could see that kind of mentality. So it's pretty cool. New CEO, new vision, yeah.
It's very functional but robust and slightly janky looking.
Function over form.
I think my favorite part of it is actually the way that it flies. It's got big engines, but quite small maneuvering thrusters, which means that it's relatively fast in a straight line. But as soon as you start trying to turn, you really begin to feel the weight of the ship, because it's quite a heavy ship for a starter. And that gives it a lot of character. And I think
flying it through Snake
most
Pit.
of the time that you spend in your ship, you'll be flying it. I think it's very important that we get that sort of thing right. It has a relatively large interior, the largest of any starter ship.
Everything is quite tactile on the inside. There's lots
buttons,
of levers,
switches,
and clunky buttons rather than holographic displays. You don't have the finer cladding on the inside that other manufacturers would do. It's all exposed insulation and pipe work just to give it that.
Can a Cutter fit inside the Reclaimer? Probably not.
No frills spared experience.
As the ramp lowers, you're greeted by the cargo hold. This is where most of the components live in their component bays, and this is also where cargo is stored.
So it's a culture then. Yes, it is a culture. That's so cool. I like that.
You have a door at the back of the cargo area that leads you through into the hab, which is where the basic amenities that the cutter comes with.
What's the Buccaneer ship? It's an exclusively combat ship, but the Buccaneer wasn't released under Andon Arden's reign. Andon Arden took over in 2947, 2948, I think was when he, 2948 was when Andon Arden took over.
You have your little bathroom.
The shoilet! The shoilet!
Bed with a little reading light.
Look at a light.
A little storage locker and some shelving. And then through on the other side of the hab is the cockpit, which is where the last two components live, the pilot seat and dashboard.
Oh, the cutter has more amenities. Yeah, it's got a shoilet.
The thing I like about the cutter the most is just how evolved it is compared to some of the other starter ships. It has a cockpit with a really tactile experience.
I'm picturing a survey fleet, all Drake, Kraken, Corsair, and Cruddy Red. That's literally what Drake is designed to do. So Drake has released a couple of different ships that were independently, that did well based off of like trends and such. But they've also built several other ships to mesh with the ideas that they want to do. Like the Buccaneer is literally built to fill in the gaps of the Caterpillar and the Cutlass, to excel at the things in terms of combat where those two things fall off. But it's also designed to be fast enough to keep up with the Herald. And the Kraken is designed to fit any Drake ship except for a Caterpillar. Can fit any Drake vessel you need. It even has a dedicated Dragonfly launch tube. And Dragonflies are designed to fit on even the smallest ship. The Dragonfly could probably fit in a cutter. So you're dealing with, maybe not, the cutter might be a little bit too small, but I wouldn't be surprised. The Mule, same thing. So you've got this situation where Drake is building their fleet so that any Drake ship will work well with other Drake ships.
In it has onboard living quarters and storage, as well as an actual cargo bay that you can.
Oh yeah, the Corsair can definitely land on the Kraken. Can definitely land on the Kraken.
Fit cargo and larger things in, so it gives you lots of variety in what you can do with it.
The Drake cutter is for everyone. It's a simple starter ship that everyone will be able to find a use for.
I just want newer Aegis ships. As a Drake fanboy, boo. Boo you, Francesco. Boo you. No, bad Aegis bad. Aegis bad. Question, what do you think the Drake cutter will cost? $65 to $70 would be my guess.
In every fleet, there is a use for a small, tough, relatively fast ship.
Compared to the other starters, I think a lot of it comes down to personal preference on looks. It's quite a cool looking ship. It's got a bunch of little cool features. Like I love the little slidey armor windows that you can.
It's got slidey armor windows.
And
that's nice.
It's just quite well rounded.
It has access to more gameplay loops than you'll get in any other starter. You'll be able to carry other people. You'll be able to carry a vehicle if you're careful.
That's definitely a mule.
You'll be able to very easily get mission boxes in and out.
When am I dark tiding? Tomorrow. Yeah, I just don't have enough time today. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to do. This isn't even going to be a long Captain's Table office hours because I've got to stop here and I got to do videos for IAE. But my plan is tomorrow to do lore tour at about 6 p.m. my time, so about 7 p.m. Eastern. And then for about 2 hours, and then once that's over with, I'm going to go immediately into Darktide. So those of you who want to check out the new game that was released in beta, Darktide, you can come join us then. But I'll definitely be doing Star Citizen stuff as well.
You can do a little bit of bounty hunting if you're very careful. It makes a very good explorer because it has very large fuel tanks compared to the other starter ships. It's like we took a cutlass and made it tiny.
Lazy streamer. It's a tiny cutlass.
The Cutter is Drake's first foray into starter ships for the persistent universe, and will become available to all players straight to flyable when the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2952 launches proper.
You don't get the armored shutters? Rule of cool, my dude. They cover 2 windows. Just 1 window on either side. And a 7.
Tomorrow. But who is Drake Interplanetary?
Yeah, Sunshade.
Creator of the new Cutter, shunned antagonist of Invictus Launch Week, and this year's sponsor of IAE? Let's find out more.
If you want to know what Drake is, this is what Drake is. This is Drake. Just replace the cat's face with a picture of Drake. That is Drake. That's just who they are. And you love them for it.
Do you have a favorite Drake ship?
I love the Buccaneer. I used to be able to really wreck some stuff in that ship. Although the Cutlass is really good because it is, again, it can be good in a dogfight and it can also, transport some stuff. But I have a real soft spot for the Buccaneer. I'm very excited for the Corsair. I don't know if I can talk about that one, but that one looks super cool.
It's literally behind you on the screen.
Yeah, that one. That one looks cool. I like the wings. And the asymmetry is cool.
He wrecked some stuff back in the day. He played a lot. I've actually killed him a couple times in game. But yeah, he played a lot.
Drake Interplanetary is one of our bigger ship manufacturers, but they sort of, in a nutshell, kind of sell themselves as the bad boys of ship manufacturing. They aren't sunshades.
They're ballistic panels. Some real life helicopters have them. Yes, but they're also sunshades.
have a reputation of being a popular ship among criminals, which sort of implies that they're kind of courting that demographic, which is somewhat true, but not entirely true. They're very much a legitimate organization. They're a proper business, but they kind of very much take the stance of we're not responsible for what people do with our product. We're going to make highly modular, easily repairable, kind of cheap products. And if people happen to use those for crime, well, that's their choice. We have nothing to do with it. Another aspect to it, too, is the fact that they're so affordable and versatile as far as their ships, that's made them very common. So it's also one of those things that's like, why it's popular for criminals is that it becomes a very low profile type ship. So the idea being that if I want to commit a crime, I don't want to be driving a supercar. I want to be driving a car that a lot of other people are driving, so I can kind of blend in a little bit easier. So it's been fun kind of riding that line of them sort of teasing their criminal.
And gangs and thieves fly Drake. What is the ship manufacturers, police, and military folks? Drake. Drake makes most of the cop cars too. They make the Cutlass Blue, which is the only real Cutlass kind of major cop car. But the military does fly a lot of everything else. So
connections, while not overtly being a criminal corporation.
But most security forces will fly Drake.
Over years, their marketing has shifted to much more of a, take back the power. We're trying to provide weapons and tools for the people because you can't trust the government or the military to save you. You need to have the tools to be able to do that yourself. So that's been kind of the thing that's been driving them for the past couple of years, and is certainly keying into the current IAE that they're co-sponsoring. Part of the reason why Drake is one of the sponsors of this year's IAE, aside from the fact that they were releasing a handful of ships, we were trying to figure out what would make most sense for them to be to contribute towards a theme, because that's always kind of a big discussion point when we start tackling each year's IAE. If you're familiar with our Fleet Week event, Drake always runs a counter program to it. So once Fleet Week is over, there's what's called Defense Con, which is Drake's answer, if you will, to Fleet Week, because Drake and the military have a bit of a contentious relationship. See, in their past, the first ship that Drake manufactured was the Cutlass.
AS-1, baby.
As a contender for a military contract. And so the military shot them down. They ended up just saying, hell with it, and we'll release it to the public. And that's how they basically got their start. So there's a little bit of contentiousness between Drake and the military.
And
just
with IAE, they're...
Fun fact, Drake actually has sold multiple ships to the Navy, but it's not combat and it's not used for what you think it is. It's kind of like if the military buys civilian ambulances to use in civilian, like in bases, rather than using frontline military hospital stuff, because it just makes more sense to buy stuff that's the standard military versions rather than going out and buying a military version, because it's just cheaper to buy that. It's like, you know, you don't drive around a base in a like a Humvee necessarily. You have base security will often have just like Toyota trucks, you know, stuff like that. Like nothing big. So the Navy actually does sell or does buy Cutlass Reds and Vultures for behind for home guard stuff. Like they use Cutlass Reds for ambulances on base, and they use Vultures for cleanup post battles in like safe areas. So
kind of bold message is the military is useless. Basically, you can't trust them. They're not going to be there for you. You need to be in charge of your own destiny, and you need to protect your family, and we're going to provide you the tools to be able to do that.
Please fight.
And so one of the fun things, because that's very much on display with a lot of the Defense Con, like branding and advertisements and stuff like that. But one of the fun things is IAE is a much more kind of chill event. It's more downplayed, more low key. IAE as an organization, we like to sort of, you know, talk about them in kind of brand words. So like they're much more intellectual. They're focused on engineering and innovation and stuff like that. And then you have Drake coming in, basically saying like, you know, screw the government, and IAE having to be like,
he was gonna say fuck the government.
Whoa, pump the brakes there, guys. So it becomes a fun balance between finding those moments where Drake kind of pushes through their edginess and overrides the IAE, and also where IAE is able to kind of rise up to kind of tamp down their more provocative messaging.
For those living in the past,
that's the message they wanted to say was fuck the government. But IAE says, let's do the war at home. It's a little bit better. So it's Drake likes most ships everyone ever flies, the most popular ship. They're one of the most popular ships in the verse. Yes, Drake makes most of the popular ships. They're not the most popular, but the thing you got to understand about Drake is that Drake ships are cheap. They are dirt cheap. Even in verse right now, the Cutlass is like 1.2 million or something like that. Every other ship that's even close to its standard, like to its size, is easily almost twice as expensive for the same ship. You get a little bit less and it's a little bit more dangerous, but it's cheap, and which means it's easier to replace. And in the verse, at least, and probably down the line as well, it'll be a lot easier to find parts and other things for Drake to fix ships than it will be for any other ship manufacturer, because they don't have as many unique parts. So a good example is likely what we'll see in Drake is that Drake will have less fuses, those little like relay stations. They'll have less of those in their ships, which means they'll be more vulnerable to get attacked, but it means you have less to fix if you're getting fucked. If you're getting absolutely destroyed, you are not going to need to run around and be like, okay, which thing that I need to do? You could sit Jerry there with some fuses while everything's getting blown up, and every time a fuse pops, you could just go pop, 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 and be back in the battle. That kind of thing. A little more dangerous as it continually tries to nose into the planet while attempting to do anything in Atmo. I mean, it just wants to go home, all right? It just wants to go home.
It's a new generation, and Drake don't give a damn about their bad reputation.
Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared. That works.
Drake is often the manufacturer of choice for those who value pragmatism and clarity of purpose over luxury and over-engineered styling, and look to celebrate this ethos as sponsor of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. But at the other end of the manufacturer spectrum is Origin, famous for their extravagance and leisure, but slightly infamous in their mishandling of the original 600i rollout. Let's find out what went wrong the first time around and take a look at how the team aims to address the issues in the current internal concept rework.
Now, this is a 20-minute IAE, by the way. Or ISE. I keep saying that.
So the 600i, when it first came out, was one of those ships that we talked about in the past that has had a troubled development.
The original 600i, its core issue was what we prioritized for space. The rear was a massive habitation area where there was pool tables and bars. And then you had the very front of the ship, which had the bridge and the captain's quarters. And then it forced the entirety of the core gameplay loops of the ship to live in the middle of it. So you had this small module where everything needed to happen.
If you're designing spaceships, you kind of need to make sure that everything's there for a reason. And when we get to the point where we've got kind of big unused areas of the ship that don't really support a functionality, it just feels like a wasted opportunity.
The 600i was done relatively early for Origin as a brand. We'd had the 300.
Does Drake have a problem with Origin and lore? Are they beefing? Nah, they don't really beef. The only beef that Drake has is with Aegis and Misk. They really, really fucking hate Misk. Like they absolutely like toe to toe with Misk every day. It is a constant back and forth between those two. Did Ben take over for Paul Jones? I don't know.
100, and it was the first really big Origin ship that we decided to do. Since then, we've obviously tackled much larger Origin ships with the 890, and throughout the course of the 890, the Origin style completely evolved from what it was, which you had some very technical and wooden surfaces, to instead have this lovely transition that goes between them, which can be seen across the 890, the clear but smooth divide between the different sections of the ship.
In terms of reworking the 600i, we had a sort of very clear brief. We want to bring it up to modern day standards. So there's a lot of features that didn't exist in the game there or weren't accounted for at the time, to integrate those into the ship now, and then to also make better use of the space, because anyone that's been on board a 600i knows there's a lot of walking and going up and down to get to where you want to, and it doesn't really need to be like that.
Currently, the 600i is concept complete. There's a couple of rooms which haven't had full concept work done on them, such as the crew quarters, but for the most part, every room has had a complete and utter rework.
The big change for the module section is its placement. So rather than being the sort of central core of the ship that you had to go through to get to the back half of the ship, it is now in the rear section of the ship, which allowed us to move the common shared areas to the central section. We did that change because it just makes the flow of the interior better. When you have a 600i, regardless of which module you have, you know the front half of the ship is a consistent experience, and then the gameplay alterations with that module is constrained to a very specific area at the back.
So the best way to think of the 600i layout is between three parts. You have the very front of the ship, which is the bridge and the captain's quarters. For the most part, they've remained mostly the same. There's been a few tweaks to the layout of the chairs on the bridge, but generally that hasn't changed very much. The captain's quarters is almost the same as it was before, except it's flipped round. The bathroom moved from one side to the other. The reason for that is directly behind that, the lobby area. On the top deck, we now have a small docking collar with space for a few suits. And the opposite side of that is now a lift to take you between two floors into the rear, the exterior of the ship. Directly behind that, which used to be the modular section, we now have on the top deck.
So Origin repair costs way more expensive than Drake? Oh, fuck yes, they are going to be. Oh, fuck yes. Just from hull repairs alone, Origin uses a very different, like, Drake is literally recycled garbage. They just take any metals, like really, really cheap metals, and use them for their hulls. Just enough to get them to work. Whereas Origin is some very composite shit, some primo shit. So you get damage in Origin, you're gonna be paying some fucking credits to get that fixed.
The crew habitation area. So it starts off with a large open shared communal space where there's places to eat, make food, and then to the side of that there's 4 private crew bedrooms. The floor beneath that now is where engineering and all the components that allow the ship to function have been moved to. Think very similar to what we've done on the 400i, where you have the separate engineering section beneath. Directly behind that, we then have the ship modular section. We'll start with the expedition version. So on the top deck, at the very, very top, we have the armory. There's a huge armory with plenty of extra suit lockers for you and your friends to take extra equipment depending on what you might encounter. Behind that, we then have the hologlow that allow you to.
I don't know. Is the executive and exploration variant? If that's the case, I'm gonna have to buy a actual 600i in game then.
Do the exploration. On the middle deck, we then have the medical bay, which
it has a size 2 med bed. It becomes a Carrack. This is when we talk about a Carrack killer. This is a fucking Carrack killer.
It'll have a medical suite similar to that as the Carrack. It'll have a tier 2 med bed. Beside that, we then have the secondary cargo hold. So this cargo hold, it's more readily accessible for the crew. So it's more for your day-to-day supply. So if you want to have a box full of your food or your snacks, that's where you put it instead of down in your main cargo hold, because you don't want to go rooting through your garage just to find.
Okay, all right, I'm going to have to explain this. I don't think I'm the one who came up with it, but it just works so well. When I say this, not all Carrack owners are Karens, but all Karens are Carrack owners.
That random pen that you've left. On the bottom deck of the Expedition version, we then have the main cargo hold and garage. So, obviously, as you've seen from the pictures,
it's so much cheaper,
inside Star Citizen, it is much, much larger than it was before, with a much, much larger lift to fit much larger vehicles in it. In there, there's also 2 small lifts, one to allow you to bring cargo up to the main cargo area, and then there's the smaller one that goes through the 3 decks. Moving on to the touring variant, we get a completely different experience. The touring's primarily split between 2 main decks.
I'm not saying Vertigo is a Karen. I'm just saying, all right, so here's the thing. Go on Spectrum and look up any of the discussions on the Pisces. Now, I know that CIG promised that all versions of the Pisces would get the skin, but like CIG has never done that in the past. They don't usually do that. And I don't think they're even going to do it this year with the variants, because what are the ships? It's the MSR doesn't have a variant, but in the past they've never given other variants of the ship that happen to be the same ship but a different variant extra skins, like MPUVC cargo, like the cargo Argo cargo owners, the Argo personnel movers, they didn't get the skin either. So it's like, yeah.
Though one of the decks is across 2 floors. So the upper deck brings you out into the large lobby area. From the lobby area, you can choose to go up the side staircases to the main meeting area / eating room, as well as a bar. And if you go left and right from there, you can get to the private guest suites. Private guest suites are very large and luxurious. They also come with their own skate pods. The lower deck is a spa. So the spa has a pool.
I can't confirm that for the Pisces skins. I made the changes myself. I know, but CIG, like, let's be honest, y'all wouldn't do anything like that for any other group than Carrack owners. Like there is some definite Carrack owner bias, because what happened last year when the Argo Cargo won? Carrack owners lost their fucking shit. Like, unhinged. Like there were doors minus hinges in the community for quite a long time. I still get people who blame me for making Star Citizen the worst game in the universe because I helped create a meme that won the IAE last year. Won an internet poll. Like some serious fucking like unhinged shit. So it's like, yeah, so like you wouldn't have that sort of, because like even now, if you don't know, they're currently also claiming that they want the new variant that's coming out for the Pisces, the new Pisces variant, to also have the skin. So you could buy the Pisces and then get the skin for free because you buy it then. So
sauna, bar, as well as a kitchen for the crew to actually be able to make food for the guests.
So whilst we're kind of doing a complete or almost a complete rework of the interior, on the exterior of the ship, we're trying to keep it as true to how it is now as we possibly.
There are some Carrack owners that seem scary. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that every Carrack owner is a crazy bastard or bitch or motherfucker or any other slang word you want to use or a foul word you want to use. I'm just saying amongst their number is some very disturbing behavior.
Possibly can. There will be some slight changes. We'll need to move the hangar bay doors a little bit. There'll be some additional kind of cutouts for escape pods, and we need to fit the airlock in properly. So there will be some minor changes, but overall we're trying to keep it as close to what you see now as a 600 as we can.
So next step is essentially just finding a slot in the production schedule for it.
It's about finding the space where we can start doing the production art and designers can get on board with actually making it come alive again. We're all super excited with the work that we've actually done on it. It's just trying to actually get the schedule to align so that we can begin the work on it. It's not going to start today or tomorrow, but it is something we're looking to try and include as soon as we can.
I think people...
Yeah, that's what I said. Not all Carrack owners are Karens, but all Karens are Carrack owners. Yes.
People should be excited for this rework just because of the significant improvements that the ship gets from this. Not only is a much better interior layout for it, even without the modules, the rest of the ship has just got a good improvement. Components are also updated, and it has extra features such as the med bay, which will just improve the gameplay role of the ship.
So yeah, that's an update on the 600i. It's been a bit of a curvy road to get to where we are now, and there's still some work ahead of us before we can really deliver it to the players in the format that we want. But I hope everyone's as excited as we are about kind of finally delivering the original vision of what we want the 600 to be. And I hope everyone has a great IAE.
So
I blame Carrack owners. I blame Carrack owners for killing my PC. Carrack owners killed Twitter. Carrack owners are the reason why 318 is delayed. I don't know. We'll just make shit up to so someone can get angry at me again for saying shit like that.
Well, we learned that Drake is making their way into the starter ship game with the addition of a cutter. That it's available to everyone starting tomorrow at this year's IAE event. That Drake itself knows what some folks think about them, but is going to keep on keeping on because they're actually...
What are band merchantman owners? Sigma males. He's a band merchantman owner.
He's sort of the best. And that it will take a while yet before the 600i Rework comes to fruition, but the path forward will be one that's well worth the wait and finally allows this fan favorite to realize its fullest potential in the persistent universe. Now don't forget that in addition to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, there's the annual free fly that goes along with it, and your chance to try out nearly every ship and vehicle that Star Citizen has to offer. Be sure you check out the robertspaceindustries.com website for the full details, and then come back tomorrow for a fun twist on our annual IAE ship roundtable for Star Citizen Live. We actually have a roundtable now, or at least a six-sided triangle, or a triangle-shaped hexagon. You can be the judge. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all here next week.
Get a new table? That was pretty good. That was a really good IAE. ISC, Paul. Jesus. Really good ISC. All right. I'm going to be right back. Chat, you know what to do. I apologize if you're watching this after the fact. Mute it until I come back. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, or if you just watch this right now, just mute it until you see me come back, because chat's going to lose its mind. Be right back.
2 words. Distress bacon. Good news, everyone.
Weapons free, goal. Hang fly. I'm pilot. Hang fly. I'm pilot. Hang fly.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Hang fly.
He fucked up.
I'm pilot. Hang fly. I'm pilot. Hang fly. I'm pilot.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Bounty hunting. Everybody with his dog calls himself an outlaw. Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Distress bacon.
I'm fly. I'm pilot.
Drugs. Good news, everyone. 2 words.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
If 2 words. Distress bacon.
Turned it off. They claim to be modules between the two, but are sold as variants. So I think it's just that they function like modules. So you notice the Corsair is made by Tumblr? No. It's not made by Tumblr, but it's made by Drake. It even says it on the top. But the panel itself says that Tumblr Land Systems isn't responsible for anything that breaks inside the ship, which tells me that it's obviously a mistake. I don't think it's real, but I would almost say keep it, because it could definitely add into the fact that Tumblr Land Systems builds some of the aspects of the Corsair. Like they build the hydraulics or the landing gear or something like that, which fits with Tumblr Land Systems. But yeah, so someone found out that they took basically a plaque that they would use on other places, and they forgot to swap out the text that said Tumblr Land Systems for Drake Interplanetary. Well, for those of you who don't know, a lot of parts of cars are actually subcomponents or sub-assemblies, which are then sent to a manufacturer before it's fully assembled. For instance, my sister was almost she went to school to be an engineer, and she spent some time in her sophomore year in college interning at a plant that built door locks for cars, like the assembly mechanisms for door locks for cars. And it was used by a ton of different companies. Yeah, your email should work here, yeah. Taste the rainbow, my children. So it's made from unloved Rock DSs. Rock is made by Greycat. What are we going to see, a Drake Interplanetary Tonk? I hope soon. I really hope soon. In your Quantum Stellar gacha game, will Banu Merchantman be a... No, I'm not going to go say that word. I'm not saying that word, Alphonse. No. I'm keeping it wholesome. But I will show you what Patreons are going to get tonight before the end of the stream, and I'll send out a low res version of it for RSI Day, which is this. Ah. The artist just finished it. Maybe we'll try to make that? Sure. There's also, this is kind of a more cleaner version. And just a standalone Scorp. Argo makes the spider tank. Is it Greycat? Yeah, it's Greycat. It is Greycat. The Sidnus mining drone is Greycat. Yeah. Spaceship cosplay, sort of. You ever played? It's complicated, but there's a entire series of like a genre of like anthropomorphized like vehicles and weapons and stuff like that are often featured in gacha games, which are effectively like slot machine games. Free-to-play games you'll see with lots of anime waifus in it, where you're supposed to collect different outfits and skins. You can collect them specifically in little card packs or buy them off of that sort of thing. Off of... So for those of you who don't know, I have an entire series of It's hard to explain because it started as a joke that I took too far and I'm now committing to it. I pay artists to take ships and turn them into waifus. That's it. Goddamn, we're talking about ship girls? Yes, but not in the same way you think. And it's totally classy, not at all sexual, because that would be disturbing as shit, and I'm not here for that. Azure Lane is a good example of that, yeah. I know, I'm not, but I mean, it ain't happened yet, so I'm fine with that. What are you talking about? You're the Avenger Titan? Where can we investigate these waifus? Right now, I have all of them in high-res format on my Patreon. So that's kind of like a little bonus for that. You can get all of them there. I do have them also on my Twitter. I'll have to find a way to put them on somewhere else. I don't know. You had to ask. Of course I have that. Lun. Here you go. Here you go. You want to see the Titan? They're just, I think they're just images, like PNGs and stuff like that. There you go. The Avenger Titan. Oh, no, I just, it was a joke that I would turn Star Citizen ships into ship girls. And it was a joke, like legitimately a joke. And then John Crew got really, really like said, no, please God, don't do this on Twitter. And so I'm like, John, you know I have to do this now. Now I have to spend stupid amounts of money to get this done. This is your fault. You told me no, not to do this. How much is subscription? It's $5 a month. I don't have many. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9, 10 with the Scorpius. So, Dealership Girl, this is my challenge that I made. If we get 100 subscribers or 100 Patreons, I will not only commission a Redeemer Ship Girl, but I will commission a Redeemer Ship Girl in 3 different outfits. Later, Rolanders. Sorry, I was consuming a cough drop so I didn't cough everywhere. You never knew these existed? I post them up there, but a lot of people don't check them out. I'm slowly saving up to commission oil painting of cat girls overthrowing Hurston. I'm ashamed you can't put them on your ship. World War II bombers. So yeah. It's in the description, Puppet Master. It's in the description of the YouTube. It's down there. I should probably put them on Discord just to have them on Discord. But no, they're mostly on my Patreon right now. I do, the point is they put them on my Patreon and then I release them to the rest of everybody else in kind of lower resolution. But I should probably, because they're not just designed to stay in the Patreon forever. So, anyways, that was just a thing because it popped up like the artist just finished it just today, so or tonight. So, let's look at the IAE as well. It's also data notice. Yes. So let's look at IAE so you can understand the ships that are going to happen, that are going to be on there. So tomorrow is Drake. And so we're going to see Drake Interplanetary with the Buccaneer, the Caterpillar, the Corsair, the Cutlass Black, Blue, and Red, the Steel, the Dragonfly, the Herald, and the Mule. And then that's tomorrow. And that's going to go on for 48 hours. So it says 48-hour blocks. So it's going to open at 11 p.m. Central, so like noon Eastern. It'll happen noon Eastern, and it'll go from noon Eastern on Friday until noon Eastern on Sunday. That's how long the Drake floor is going to be open for. So if you want to try out the Corsair, that's the best time to go in there and grab that. Then we've got the Cutter, because the Cutter will be free to try out there as well, I believe. They don't say it on here, but it almost certainly is. Then on day 2, you have Origin Jumpworks, which will start at noon on Saturday and then go noon Eastern on Saturday and go until Monday noon. Twitter isn't working? Which... let me double check that real quick. Is Twitter just broken now? Oh, that's because I screwed up a thing. Hold on. Try it now. Refresh and try it now. Yeah, there's a W in it. If you just delete the W, you should see it. So with Origin Jumpworks, we've got the 85X, the 100i, the 125A, the 135C, the 300i, the 315P, the 325A, the 350R, the Origin 400, the 600i Touring, the 890 Jump, and the Origin M50. Which is interesting because that means that we don't get the 85X, which is interesting. It's weird. But we'll also get the G12 and the X1 in the holo tables. Then we have Aegis Dynamics. This is going to be from Sunday at noon Eastern till Tuesday at noon Eastern. And that's going to be the Stalker, the Avenger Stalker, the Titan, the Titan Renegade, the Warlock, the Eclipse, the Gladius Valiant, the Hammerhead, the Reclaimer, the Redeemer, the Retaliator Bomber, the Aegis Saber, the Saber Comet, the Vanguard, the Harbinger, the Hoplite, the Sentinel, and the Warden. I think it's every single Aegis ship. So. Is 85X the first one? I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's right there. My bad. I did not see that. So then we have Apoa Banu Esperian Gatak. This is the Monday, I think. Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So this is Monday at noon Eastern till Wednesday at noon Eastern. You've got the Cartual, the Nox, the Defender, the Blade, the Glaive, the Prowler, the Talon, and the Talon Shrike. So, and then we'll probably see the Raylan in the holo, and then of course the Bandit Merchantman probably in the holo, my guess. Did you see the leak of the RSI Galaxy? Do you think that the one will compete with the Carrack or the Perseus? I don't trust the leak of the Galaxy. I'll have to wait until RSI Day to see if it's true or not. So this is day 5, which means it's going to be Tuesday at noon Eastern till Thursday at noon Eastern. And it's the Anvil Arrow, the Ballista, the C8X Pisces, the Carrack, the Centurion, the Hornet, Super Hornet, Wildfire, Tracker, and Ghost, the Gladiator, the Hawk, the Hurricane, the Spartan, the Terrapin, and the Valkyrie. Again, I think that's every single Anvil ship. I don't see anything that's not there. Then we have so effectively, if the ship is in game and you can fly it, it's going to be in these whole things. So, oh, it's the Raven isn't there? Is there not a Raven, Aegis Raven? You're right. It's the Saber Comet and the Saber. That's interesting. Then we've got the smaller manufacturers: Argo, Consolidated Outlands, Greycat, and Kruger. We've got the Mole, the Cargo, the Personnel, the Raft, the Mustang Alpha, the Beta, the Gamma, the Delta, the Nomad, the Rock DS, the Steve, the PT, the Steve with the PH, the Peteve, the Peeve, Stephen with the PH, Peven. Then the Merlin and the Archimedes. This is on Wednesday, I believe, which will go till Friday. And then on Thursday, we've got Crusader Industries and Tumbril, which includes the Ares Inferno, the Ares Ion, the A2, the C2, the M2, the Star Runner, the Cyclone, the AA Cyclone, the MT, the RC, the RM, the TR, and the Nova. Then we have the Misk. This is going to be on Friday. So this is Thursday going to Saturday. And this is Friday going to Sunday. We've got Misk, which is Freelancer, the Dur, the Max, the Mist, the whole A, the Prospector, the Razor, the EX, the Razor EX, the Razor LX, the Core, the Reliant Core, the Reliant Mako, the Reliant Sen, the Reliant Tana, the Starfarer, and the Starfarer Gemini. And then the last day of like absolute floor shows is going to be, that's Thursday. This is Thursday, Friday. So this is Saturday. Will be the CL, the ES, the LN, the LX, the MR, the Andromeda, the Aquila, the Phoenix, the Taurus, the Mantis, the Scorpius, and the Ursa Rover. So then, that's the important part. So if you want to see those ships specifically on the floor, you have 48 hours to check those out when they go in. Then there's the Best in Show, which will have all of the Best in Show ships with the Best in Show skins on them on the floor, I believe, which is the Pisces, the MSR, the Scorpius, and the Carrack. And they'll also make all of the other ships free to fly for rentals. And you can do that again between the 11th and 13th days as well, from November 28th to November 30th. You can also rent every single ship for free that was on the floor. So the last 3 days of the event, or every ship is free to try out for 48 hours. Do I think we'll see a rework of the Carrack? No, we won't see a rework of the Carrack. Ignore, I've already discussed, but isn't the Corsair great? It is. It's a fantastic ship. AstroPub, do Drake and RSI compete since they're both supposedly affordable, or is RSI more in origin? They compete, but like Drake is, it's one of the top 5 ship manufacturers, but it's not near the level of RSI. It would be like Ford getting upset at Tesla. You know, it's like Ford doesn't give a shit about Tesla. Ford makes way too many goddamn like cars to give a shit about Tesla. They might blink at them, but they don't care. So like they really are not even in the same ballpark. RSI is so massive. They're a cornerstone of the UEE, let alone a ship company. So yeah, they don't really have that kind of lore. Oh, they're going to nerf the shit out of it in 318 or 319. I don't think they'll change the sizes or anything like that. But like of the guns, I just think they'll change the capacitors so they don't hit as hard. RSI has big military contracts. Yeah, Drake who? Yeah, not just that, but RSI also has big civilian like market. They're just big everywhere. Still waiting on my 600i med bed. Well, did you see the? We just showed off the IAE or the IAE, the ISC, where they talked about the rework and how it's in final. It's been approved. All the concept art has been approved, so it's now waiting to be slotted in for production. So we'll probably see it. My guess is if not by the end of next year, then the beginning of the year after that. Have you seen the fan concept of the Consolidated Outland Rhino? I wish I would get that. I haven't seen it, no. Where does the Anvil fit on the Drake equals cheap, Origin equals expensive scale? More on the expensive scale. Anvil is a military... Anvil and Aegis are kind of like Lockheed Martin and... what's the other major aerospace manufacturer that does like combat aircraft? I don't even know Lockmart. Northrop, yeah. Northrop Grumman. And Boeing, yeah. Yeah, it's like Boeing or Northrop Grumman or McDonnell Douglas, that kind of stuff. Like those are like, they are the big military manufacturers. So they're expensive, but they're military in the sense that they're military. You talk to anybody who has ever been in the military, when people get hyped about military grade stuff, even in Star Citizen, hey, thank you for gifting those insane subs there, Deepa. I see you. The subs. Sub bombs. We've got some bunch of beers too. Let's do some, because Othamon gave out some beers. So boom, 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 boom. There you go. But like anyone who's been in the military knows that military grade means it's overpriced and garbage. And that's kind of how like Anvil is. But the difference is that Anvil and Aegis they kind of had to go into the civilian market to survive. So a lot of their stuff is built in the civilian market to be a civilian standard, whereas the military stuff is probably a little bit more expensive, overly complex, and but maybe a little bit better at some fringe points. Marine grade, same, yeah. Yeah, military grade equals built by the lowest bidder, yeah. There's even a joke in the lore about it too. Did Deepa drop more? Is Deepa dropping more? Thank God, okay. Deepa comes in, it's just like, I'm giving everything. Just doing it again. Because Deepa does this every single fucking time. It comes in as like, I'm giving memberships. By the way, if you'd like to subscribe on Twitch, you can subscribe on Twitch. If you'd like to join our memberships on YouTube, you can join our memberships on YouTube. You get emotes and other stuff like that. Just a way of helping out. I've been drinking. I'm gonna make mistakes. Oh God, Deepa. Military grade equals built to define standards, but as cheaply as possible. Yeah. Military is as cheap as they can get away without losing functionality. Yeah. And then that's the point is, like I say that even in lore, there's an armor company. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Basilisk. Basilisks, the civilian versions of Basilisk are better than the military versions of Basilisk because the Basilisk military division is military grade. Whereas the civilian is civilian grade, which means it's better than the Basilisk stuff. How would you rate the cutter? 9 or 10 out of 10? I mean, I'm biased as shit because I like Drake, so it's an 11 out of 10. Honestly, I think the cutter is the new standard for advanced starter ships. I would put it ahead of the Avenger. I mean, the 315P in my mind has always been the best starter ship that no one pays attention to because, like, why would you pay attention to it? But it's faster, it's more maneuverable, it has more cargo space, and it still has some decent punch to it. But if you're going for pure cargo hauling, there's just no better ship than the cutter, I don't think. AstroPub, you said something about the Corsair nerf. How would capacitors affect guns overheating or something? Been a while since I played. So capacitors is kind of like how the overheating used to work. It just, you only have a certain number of shots, and then you have to wait for your capacitors to fill back up before you can fire again. So like with laser turrets, your capacitors will reach its maximum capacitor, like they'll drain, and then you have to fire again. So you only have like 15 shots per gun. That's likely how they'll balance it. Is they'll just decrease the efficiency of the capacitors so that they have 5 shots per gun or 8 shots per gun. They need to make a Drake Redeemer. They did. It's called the Steel, and I love it, and it's still garbage. The Drake is amazing, but it has living space and is way too comfy and way too excessive and comfy. I get a bed instead of a box and a bucket. This is far too high standard for Drake. It only has 4 SCU? Oh, that's interesting. Is it worth buying the Drake ship pack? It's never worth buying any ship packs. There is some very fringe reasons to buy fringe to buy ship packs, and it's only if you really, really want all of those ships in that pack. So generally, no. I would say no. The cutter is a ship for the whole family. Plenty of drawers to put your kids in. Thank you, Deepa. Thank you for gifting 20 subs. Join now, get great content. There we go. God, you're gifting just all these memberships. This is just not gonna turn off from now on. This is just gonna keep going. It has 2 size 1 guns. I don't think it has the least amount. That's about the same amount of guns as the Pisces, the standard Pisces, and it's the same starter amount as the Aurora. But the difference is that the Pisces has an upgraded version. You can get bigger size guns or more guns, and the Aurora you can fit 2 guns on aftermarket. But yeah. Yeah, but the regular C8 is just 2. Yeah, a passenger version of the cutter would be perfect. Strip out the living quarters and combine the cargo area with the living quarters and just put like 8 seats at the back. Be perfect. You can't buy a standard C8? I thought the C8 was what you could buy. Couldn't you think you could purchase a C8X? Apparently, the way you fix a C8 ramp is you do a character reset. That's weird. You can only buy the limited edition version of the Pisces, not the actual thing. Hey, Sketch Therapy. I'm glad you're coming on there, Jordan. You can listen to this tomorrow. So setting some expectations as well. Let's set some expectations for IAE. So IAE, I would almost guarantee that we're not going to get a ton of stability for IAE. So it is a very good time to tell your friends about Star Citizen, with the caveat that you will crash, you will fall through the planet, there are tons and tons of bugs, but you should check it out to see if you like it. Jack's expectations. I expect Jax to show up at the end of the show because that's the easy cop-out answer, but CIG could subvert my expectations. We don't know. How do I fix a character reset? So you use the character reset to fix the issue. You go to your settings and there's an option that you can say, reset my character. You click that and then it'll reset your character. That should fix the problem. Paul has turned down the offer until they give the purple. Yes. Yes. A 625A, an egg with more guns. I'd love to see that, or bigger guns. I don't think we'll see a 625A though. I don't know what would be a difference between the 600 tour, like exploration version and a combat version. The exploration version is a fucking combat version. It can hold a fucking tank on board. Let me repeat that. The exploration variant of the 600i can hold a fucking tank on board and has an entire armory full of suits and gun lockers. It's not an exploration ship. It's an invasion ship. I was trying to be very soft when I was talking, you know? Invasion egg, yes. Everyone loves it when I do ASMR. Welcome to the ASMR pub instead of the AstroPub. Time to light the tree signal by calling it a dropship. Yes, it's a dropship. Trees in chat. It's pretty sweet. I hope the exploration version has one size up in the main gun, small difference, but sweet, simple one. Yeah. A 600i, what I would do if I was going to do a combat version is swap out the turrets for missile pods. I'd give it a instead of having, was it like 3 size 3s, I'd give it a size 4 shield, swap out the turrets for missile pods, and yeah, that's about it. Just do an exploration variant with missile pod turrets. Just make it black. You're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, up armor. Like, give it some armor too. Yeah. I love the boomslang. The boomslang was best, man. No. The boomslang was the one that got the second place, right? It wasn't best. I'm thinking of the scimitar. The scimitar. The scimitar was, wow. The 325A is basically a Polaris. Yeah. Combat 600i. Replace the captain quarters with a rail gun. And there's Deepa doing his drunk gifting subs on Twitch now. Deepa Santa Deepa. Size 6 railgun. Yeah, instead of size 9. Yeah, the Drake Brutus was perfect. Like, the Drake Brutus was my number 1 pick. And it got number 3. But I think it deserved number 1. Honestly. The Drake Brutus was a Drake gunship. How could you not like that? It was basically what the Buccaneer took a lot of design cues from the idea from it, but like, how could you not? Like, that'd be a perfect ship for Drake. Oh, you need a gunship? Here's our version of a gunship. Is Drunk Deepa doing it again? Oh, and Ash was given us given a membership by Deepa. There we go. How about a 325A with put a railgun on it? Oof. Did they remove the bar from the 600i exploration? They did. It's now just a touring version. I do wonder why they have the exploration variant as the executive edition. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It makes a lot more sense for the executive edition to have been like the passenger ship version. It's an executive edition. Basically, at this point, all the viewers who are watching are subs. Curious, what do you think about the medical variant of the Valkyrie? I think it would be a good idea. Just in general, swap out one of the seat areas for a med bed, like a size 2 med bed. You think they'll up the price of the 600i with the rework? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be that much. Like, how much is the 600i right now? $600? $500? Let me look it up. It's currently $475 standalone, Warbond 435. So it's 435 Warbond, which means I would expect it to be $500. Now Deep is just doing them individually. Yeah, I don't think Origin will make any combat ships. Drake, keep doing that. Origin does make ships for the military. In fact, the 325A is rumored to have originally been a commissioned version of the 300 for the military, but something fell through, and so they decided to release it to the civilian market instead. But in general, Origin works with the military. Like, there's 600Is that are military, that the military uses, but they're usually used for things like VIP transports. Kind of like how there are 747s that are owned by the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Army, but they're not combat 747s. They're just used to fly, troops in and out of locations in civilian, like, passenger liners. I don't even know if they still have them anymore. They usually just book. Here's a ticket to Iraq. Good luck, kid. Origin bomber would work. I'd love to see the original 600 series. For those of you who don't know, the original 600 series was a cargo ship. Take everything that's aft of the captain's quarters, and that's a fucking cargo. Just cargo. Three decks of cargo. And fly the POTUS, yeah. Yeah, apparently Twitter's burning down. I don't know what's going on. People in chat have been saying Twitter's burning down. To be honest, I'm kind of done with Twitter anyways. I always hated that site. I've only been on there because it's really, like, for those of you who don't know, content creators are on Twitter because it is literally the best place to contact anyone. I have made more connections and contacts through Twitter with, like, game companies and other content creators and stuff like that than I've made any other way. That's what it's designed for. It's a literal social media site. But I just don't like it. You'll be his number one customer again. People wants to get drunk, yes. I think Origin's making a four-wheel vehicle. I think it has missiles, which you can correct me. Yes, that's the G12R, I believe. Or no, G12A. The G12A. The G12A is a military version of the G12, which has 4 missiles on it. Twitter's always been a dumpster fire. You're not wrong. It's now just a dumpster fire with people pouring gasoline on it. I have been led to Twitter many times because of artists in the work. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's legitimately one of the best social media sites for professionals. What chip will be the new AstroPub? Probably 600i. And it's just the new version of it when that happens. The 600i needs a med bed for Deepa when he gets too drunk. Do I ever do commission work for lore, like making a lore for ship's history? No. I don't know how I'd do commission work like that. I could write a story, I guess, but I don't know if that's really a good idea. I've had people approach me and ask me to write lores for their org. And I'm like, I'm busy. They're like, yeah, why don't you do it for free, for fun? I'm like, I don't have that. I have asked, when the people do that, and it's happened in the past, I do say, you can pay me, and I'll do it. Mostly because they know if I ask them to pay me, they'll say no. I was like, cool. I mean, Deepa's at the pub anyway. Who's making the links? RSI, I believe, makes the links. Well, Pappy, just come up with cool ideas. It'll be fine. Gifting out 20 more freaking. God damn it, Deepa. It is Deepa is Deepa Christmas. 10 more subs on Twitch and 20 more on YouTube. Don't overdo this. Don't overdo this. Everyone gets a sub. I mean, 12 hours to IAE, but zero hours to Dark Tide. AX, yes. I'll be doing Dark Tide tomorrow with you. Because I've got to make a video for IAE for tomorrow because I hate myself. But I am going to end this here shortly. So probably get about another 15 minutes and we'll call it a night. Think about all the exposure you get by doing our org lore. Yeah. Manga. Okay. Astro, would you write some lore from manga style of your Quantum Stellar characters and release it in seasons or chapters? Sure. I mean, I have no idea how the story I'd make for it, but I could come up with something. But I'm not an artist, so I can't really draw anything. If someone feels inspired to do a manga or a little webcomic of Quantum Stellar, then cool. Just let me know. We definitely need a food truck. Like I don't joke when I say we need the Cutlass Purple. We need effectively a Banu Merchantman or a privateer, but in all of the different sizes, from a single seat, it's like a single profession starter, all the way up to a large ship. Joe Astro. Lunch cutter, yeah. Do you think we'll see an updated Polaris concepting at IAE and what day? Probably, well, I mean, Polaris is an RSI ship, right? So probably on an RSI day. Cutter Roach Coach, yeah. Hey, Paul, do you think the chances of CIG doing a straight-to-flyable large/cap ship at some point in the main releases? A capital ship release straight-to-flyable would be years away. They have so many ships they have to catch up on, and they take so long to make a capital ship. They need to either double the size of their ship teams, which I think they're trying to do, or knock out a bunch of the stuff they're trying to do already. Are there any other ships being released at IAE? Yes, there should be the variant of the Pisces, which is a medical variant, is the rumor. And then there is the Argo MCV, which has been talked about, which is, if it comes out, it's going to be a concept ship. And then there's the rumor of the RSI Galaxy, which is another concept ship. Yeah, just remember to allow gift subs on YouTube. It should be. Isn't it already on there? It should be allowed. Very important question. Will we get flushable shitters that we can dump them into new cabbage expo hall roofs? I think so. What about the Great Cat UTV? I don't think the UTV is going to be available. They'll do it straight to drivable, but I think that's going to be like a 319 ship, a 318, 319. MCV is a mobile construction vehicle. Yeah, the side opening could drop down to make a ramp for customers, walk up to an order window and replace the opening. That would replace the opening? Yeah, effectively. Cutter is straight to flyable. Cutter, they've already confirmed it as of the ISC today. It'll be straight to flyable tomorrow. I don't think. Honestly, I think I'm getting a Vulture. If you don't have, if you want to do salvage, the Vulture is the perfect ship for it. Isn't there supposed to be a new ground vehicle? I don't know. There might be. Heard a rumor the Galaxy will be flyable. No, there's been some leaks about it. It's you don't see the Galaxy like this. There were some leaks about the map that showed it on the IAE floor that was in the map, and the map showed the Galaxy as in the hollow bay. So if it's coming out in the hollow deck, the hollow viewer. So it won't be. It'll be concept. Paul will have to construct additional pylons. Exactly. Saving my wallet for the Galaxy. Your Drake is my RSI. Hey, I don't own all of Drake's ships. I don't own a Kraken. I have no intention of owning a Kraken. That's just too much responsibility. I much prefer my biggest ship to be the Corsair, which I own. In fact, I own one and I have it named. That's how old it is. I bought it when it was first concepted. It's called the Ryoma, by the way. But I don't think the names will be available on those ships when they release, so. You want me to come on your Kraken there, Execute? Oh my. Oh god, I'm sorry. My brain had to go there. Had to go there. No names on it in live? Yeah, no. Oh, in live right now, yeah. Hey, he said it, not me. Hey, is C-Daddy lurking? I think he is, yeah. Okay, done. Okay, Deepa. Oh, you're saying whoa because he dropped 50 fucking subs. Holy shit. God damn it, Deepa. I thought you all were being like, whoa, you took it too far there, Paul. It's like, I've gone farther than that, chat. Meltability and AUEC make this one of the most flexible economies in gaming. Nothing like it, nothing like it out there. Yeah. That last cap save was amazing and sweet. I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Luigi. Dad? Deepa doesn't have children. We are Deepa's children. Didn't realize this was a subathon. I didn't either. I didn't either. Because I gotta log off so I can edit the videos here shortly. Oh, YouTube is so much cheaper, yeah. Because the for some reason you can like gift subs on YouTube that are cheaper than Twitch, even though it's the same price. Any chance we might see unannounced concepts that we don't know nothing about according to the leaks? Possibly, yeah. Leaks isn't omniscient. They don't know everything. They're just using what they can find and what information they can gather. That's about it. We definitely know that the Polaris, but the Polaris wouldn't be an unannounced. I do wonder what RSI ship will start development next. Polaris, Perseus, or Galaxy? Oh, it's definitely Polaris. Polaris is definitely next. Then the Perseus, and then the Galaxy. I don't want you to go. I don't want Deepa to like get drunk and then give more money than he can afford. That's the only thing I'm worried about. It's like I don't like that when that happens. When people are just like, hey, here's money, here's all this stuff. Like, I'm glad you're doing it, but don't feel like you have to. Like, I do this anyways. The money is nice, don't get me wrong, but And it's nice that the people, that people cares that much about my content. Just, you know. So will ships be on sale for 2 days or for each manufacturer? Ships will be on sale for the entire sale. Execute, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I believe all of the ships will be on sale until the end of the sale. So until the 30th, they'll be on sale. It's just they start on the specific day. The 2-day window is just a 2-day window for getting it in game. Hey, Drowies. Why do I recognize that name, Drowies? Is it wrong that I'm at work and I had the stream on audio only like a podcast? No, that's fine. That's exactly what it's designed for. The League? Maybe. I don't recognize it. I didn't know if the name sounded familiar, like I'd seen it before, but yeah, welcome. I'm trying to get more info on them. They need it. Plus, I've been making great money, so don't worry about me. I want more. I want more to see the great game. This will be a game changer. Yeah, thank you. They've said CCU are the 24 initial, then new War Bond CCU on the last day. Yeah, every day is a new War Bond, but yeah, except for the limited holes. So like limited holes, and I believe War Bond will be restricted. Relics. Oh, right. Yeah, you've been rolling with us on the lore teams with the League. Oh, the League. Oh, like as in the League of Relic Enthusiasts. I thought you were talking about the League, the TV show. Yes, the League. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, if I remember correctly, but like, for instance, if you want a Vulture, you don't have to buy it in the next 48 hours. The Vulture will be available up until the 30th. And the advantage is that every ship you purchase at IAE will probably have like 96 months insurance or whatever the fuck. It'll be 10 years insurance. Yeah, the Perseus has a better chance of getting into the PU, but the Polaris has a better chance of, it will probably be made before. Thank you, Deepo. That 20 additional, 20 more. Damn, man. So if this is your first IAE, welcome to the IAE experience. Make sure you go down to the floor and enjoy it. Check out the lore tours that I'll be doing all week. I'll be live tomorrow a little bit earlier at about 6 p.m. my time, so about 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing... yes, you can definitely CC you up from the Corsair. No, not all existing ships will be available on day one. The day of the sale is when they'll go on sale. Lol, as the AstroPub side comes up, someone pulled up with subs outside. Nice. With them saying the Galaxy is an industrial answer to the Perseus and it's built around the Pyro system, I hope that they bring it in as the launch of Pyro. I mean, there's lots of stuff they're not going to have in by the launch of Pyro. There's no way that they'll have something the size of the Perseus that will be launched before anything else. Not without pissing off a lot of other people. Will there be a BMM to Galaxy CCU? Probably not. Probably the other way around, because I think the Galaxy will probably be cheaper than the BMM. Will Silas Kerner be replacing Jax? No. Yeah, for those of you all who don't know, who are on, I have my memberships available on YouTube. If you are a member on YouTube, you have emotes. You'll have more emotes soon. So you can use those emotes on my stream. I think you can use them on any stream. You just gotta click the little emoji tab, your reactions, and you'll see a bunch of them. I'll just put them all that I have up there right now. Boom. You have all of those emotes. Is the Galaxy the carrot killer? Yes. Yes, it is. Have you seen the links on the Loner Matrix? I think it will have news of it at least. Probably. We may have the links go live because that's just a variant of the Ursa. So. Galaxy's Expanse Killer. I have no idea what the Expanse, what the Galaxy is supposed to be, and I don't like using leaks as references because let me put it this way: the original leaks for the Perseus were so fucking wrong. They were incredibly wrong because they were using information that they had that wasn't fully available, and like let me put it this way. There is still a rumor that they're going to use jump points before 4.0 to test out jumps between one point and another point in Stanton. A jump highway between like Hurston and Microtech. That was in the leaks at one point. We have yet to see even it hinted anywhere, even in like monthly reports or anything like that. How do you think the Lynx will be different? The Lynx is supposed to be a luxury rover, so I don't know. If I remember correctly, Xylo said something about the Galaxy being not what the leaks have been. They're old leaks. The MPUV was a carrot killer. It is a carrot killer. Lynx versus G12, probably a G. Yeah, Lynx will probably be a multi-person carrier versus the G12, but it probably won't have as many weapons. Will there be Consolidated Outlands and Drake joint project, like we called the the Codfish? Yes, the Codfish. Thank you, Urban Burger. He said in the thread about the cutter and it looks different too. Yeah. UE, IAE, and Darktide. Does that mean UEE Mankind will receive new weapons pack of the Bolter, Melta, and Flamer? Yes. The Holy Trinity. Good night, Deepa. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for being overly generous. But yeah, for those of you who are wondering, starting tomorrow, I'll be streaming a little early. We'll do the floor lore tour. So if you want to watch it live, we'll be there. And I think I'll probably clip it out the way I used to do the old lore tours and put them up on as kind of highlights. I'll just cut out like the downtime stuff and put it up on YouTube as well as its own standalone video, just to keep that going. So, because I hate myself. But then I will also be doing Darktide after that. So that'll probably be from like 2 hours, from like 7 p.m. Eastern to about like 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll go from there directly into playing Darktide with friends and such. So, because the people at Fat Shark reached out and gave me 2 codes to give away. So I'm going to do the right thing and help them out as well. My prediction for the next straight-to-flyable ship and what manufacturer? It's called the Cutter, and it's Drake, and it's coming out tomorrow. That's the next one. You mean after that? My guess would be the Pisces R, the one that they've been talking about. But if you're talking about something that's not a variant or the one we don't know about, something to do with repair would be my guess. Yeah, medical Pisces. That was also part of a leak. 600i will replace the Carrack for a lot of people, because the only reason why a lot of people enjoy the Carrack is because of its respawn capabilities. Like, that's the main thing that kind of makes the Carrack an OP ship. Not its ability to have a snub, not its size, not its guns. It's all of that plus the medical bay. Because there are other ships that have those things that are better than the Carrack, like better guns and can carry larger vehicles, like the 890. But the 890 is super expensive. Rock R, the rocker. The 600i will have good storage like the Carrack, because it's that's when the 600i gets its med bay, it has a cargo bay that can hold a fucking tank. Yeah, plus the characters have any pilot control weapons, yeah. Y'all have a great night, and best man who give you history and gameplay. Paul, if I spelled it right, thank you, sir, for bringing great content, and thank you, and have a great, and I will have to visit you. You'll have to come by, yeah, that kind of stuff. Any idea of when the Apollo will be coming? I think once they do modularization, once they finish their work on module, like on, modularization for stuff, which is something they've been working off and on. But I think that's been pushed to the wayside because of things like damage, the ongoing work on damage stuff and stuff on Squadron, and of course, issues with PES and server meshing. They just don't have enough people to work on that as well. Oh yeah, it's going to change. The 600i Exploration is going to have more than that. The 600i Exploration can hold a fucking tank. I'm not even joking. The Apollo is in the tracker from July to December. It's important to remember that just because a ship is in a tracker, in the progress tracker, doesn't mean that it's going to be finished when it's done. They may stop working on it and come back on it. It's just, progress tracker just tracks the what sprint is being worked on for what location. It doesn't necessarily do the stuff. 600i for the Gentleman Explorer, yeah. When are we getting an STV with a pair of Scourge railguns mounted on the back like a tactical? Listen, I will see your Steve technical and raise you the Mule technical. You just take the back area out where you'd have all the cargo and replace it with a size 5 cannon. Mule technical. It needs to happen. Even as an April Fool's joke, that needs to happen. Have a good night there, Sam. It's used lift after firing. Why not both? Because it's funnier if it's Drake. It's not as funny if it's Gray Cat. It's much funnier if it's Drake. Yeah, that's what you'd call it. Instead of call it the Mule, you'd call it the Strongback. The Mule Strongback. The Mule Steel. Mule with a size 17 suborbital cannon mounted to it. You remember when they showed the underground base with the crane mule? I called the Drake Giraffe. That would work, yeah. What's the name of the cranes that unload cargo on ships? Is it called like the yard arm? Something like that. If Drake made a mule variant with a crane on it, it would be called like the yard arm. It'd be whatever you use in nautical terms for unloading stuff. Is it the gantry? Yeah, so it would be called the Drake gantry. Would be what it would be called. Drake granny. Just duct tape a railgun to the mule. Colorado Breston show push for 29.53. I don't think CIG is going to let us meme anymore. All this talk about adding weapons to the mule, you do realize they'll be firing blanks. Put them. Shh. Yeet cannon. Fun detected. Well, once the memes started to have an effect on what ships they could produce, that's when they put their foot down. They said, let's listen to the community this year. Let's have them have their fun. But then when they intentionally waited to they waited to the last moment to pull the PTV. Now I get part of it was because they literally were about to rework the PTV, and so they didn't want to have to have it on there. But they didn't have to do that, but they did anyways. It's only fun if you're not moderating the fun. Exactly. Listen, I killed someone with a mule and blew up a cutty. Drake, baby. Panamax cranes? Maybe. I mean, I'm thinking about the old school, like wooden cranes they would use to unload ships, like old Age of Sail ships. That's what I'm talking about. Whatever that is, that would be what a Drake crane would be. Yeah, sorry, Jaybird. We're actually going to be wrapping it up here shortly because, and I'll just say this one more time, I am planning on doing something stupid and life-consuming over the next couple of days. Instead of doing our normal, the normal IAE floor tours that I've been doing in the past, I'm going to start doing them as standalone videos the way I do normal Astro Historian videos. Those will be going out starting tomorrow for every day for the next week. So, Captain's Table guests. We got a kind of an interesting one. We've got Hayetz, Nick, and Zark will be on for the Captain's Table this week. Sure, try something new, Paul. Let's see how it goes. Well, the point is that people are used to seeing more professional content, less off-the-cuff content on the Astro Historian now. So whatever I do is going to have to be pre-recorded, and it's going to have to be a script, it's that kind of stuff. It's still going to be a little bit the same. I've just kind of pared down what I'm saying so I'm not rambling as much. So I just finished recording the Drake version, which is a little over 20 minutes, and I have to go through and cut out some of the bad takes and stuff like that. Once I do that, I'll plop it on a timeline, I'll do the intro, I'll do the outro kind of videos, I'll do what I can with what I have, and tomorrow during my lunch break, I'm going to come back home, get footage of the Corsair and the cutter from in the game, get that footage, film it, plop it into the editor, and then send it out tomorrow afternoon. So for those about to die streaming IAE, we salute you. I know I'm stupid, but I love it. It's a great time of year. The IAE is a fantastic thing. I'm gonna wrap this up now because I've been trying to wrap it up for the next 15 minutes. But I'll leave you with this. I want more conventions in Star Citizen. I don't just want IAE and Invictus. I want knife conventions. I want clothing conventions. I want weapon manufacturer conventions. I want food conventions. I don't give a shit. I want more of this sort of thing to highlight at different aspects of the game that are not just ships for people to come in and enjoy. And I also want the conventions that we have now to be more diverse, to have booths, to have events, to have little things you can do other than just stare at ships. And I know Whenever I bring this up, someone says that's far too much work for CIG. And my response is, all they got to do is code it once. Once they've made it once, they can reuse it for every convention. Because every convention I've ever been to has had a fucking recruitment booth at it. For the US Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, who have you. They've always had a fucking recruitment booth because I go to gaming and nerd conventions. Obviously, they're going to have them there. I almost always see, you'll always have specific things, so. It's in-game CitizenCon. Yeah, in-game CitizenCon. Yeah, I'd love to see that, yeah. And I think, well, you got to do an org recruitment at a convention. Well, no, I mean, the idea being like you could go to the UEE military has a booth, and you could go do like, they give you like the dart gun, and they tell you to go like shoot targets, like to do what are they called? The kill houses or something like that. The houses where like they go through where they train on like shooting targets and stuff like that. They have you go through the like a little mini kill house, and you shoot down little Van Duel pictures and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, gun and knife shows are big things in the United States. For those of you who are outside of the United States, we have roving shows of just guns and knives. They have little jingles too sometimes. Glad to hear that, Giddy Up Alice. Our music concerts, I love those sorts of things, but I don't think we'll. That's a little bit more off the wall. But I want to see more diverse conventions. I want to see conventions that have more of a purpose than just being a fancy ship rental. It's cool the way they are now, but I'd like to see things like, I don't know, a Zeus on the floor so we can look on the inside, or even just see the outside of a Zeus would be cool. Or, dioramas of famous battles or shit like that. Like little things that it's not just ships on a big stage. But to go kind of recap what we're planning on doing, I will be live tomorrow early at 7 p.m. Eastern. Around that same time is when probably a little bit earlier than that, I will release the next video for Astro Historian. And every day I'll be doing a video for the Astro Historian on the lore of the ships on the floor of IAE, and I'll be talking about the lore of every ship on the floor. Even if it doesn't have lore, I'll just kind of talk about where I think that it fits in the lore and how it functions. I'll be doing that every day up until next Saturday, I think. I will also be doing live tours on the floor every day starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be later than usual. Starting on Saturday and going through next Saturday, I'll be starting those streams at noon. So I'll be streaming at noon, going for about 2 to 3 hours with the lore tours, the floor tours, and then I'll be going noon my time, so 1 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be going till like 4 to 5 hours, or 2 hours to that, and then after that I'll be doing Dark Tide, because Dark Tide's in beta. And the Fat Shark reached out and gave me a couple of keys to give away. So we'll be doing some stuff like that. You can do component, yeah, for component manufacturers, yeah. So check those out. Make sure you're subscribed to the Astro Historian. And I'm also going to take those live lore tours, those floor tours, and I'm going to cut them up into I'll record them and then make them into smaller segments, which will be easier to put on YouTube as well. So we'll be doing both. The one that's going to be on the that's more live off the cuff that I'll be doing live will be a version that is much more talking about the ships, not really so much the lore, but kind of the ships and their context in the verse. They do need a Star System Museum yes. Yeah, but don't worry, that stuff will be live after the fact. It'll be in VODs and stuff like that. We're also giving away a Corsair all of this month. I will also be giving away a Corsair tomorrow, which will be separate from the Corsair that we're giving away for this month. I'll be giving away a Corsair. I think it just has 6 months insurance, but it's a Corsair, free Corsair that I'll be giving away tomorrow. And then on Crusader Day, I'll be giving away a blank in my brain, a Spirit LTI. So we'll be doing some other stuff. No, for anybody, not just subscribers. Anyone can get into those. What? No Redeemer giveaway? This is travesty. I don't have a Redeemer. I never do subscriber-only giveaways. Everyone can join in. No, I have a Redeemer, but I don't, not my choice. It's forced upon me. Yeah, I also can't gift it, yeah. But with that, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for joining us. If you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us here on Twitch. We are well on our way on YouTube to reaching close to... What are we at right now? For the TheAstroPubLive, because it's a brand new channel that we started in August, we're one subscriber away from 2,900 subscribers. So we're about 101 subscribers away from 3,000 subscribers for that. That's what I want to have happen before the end of the year. And on the Astro Historian, I have 17,111 subscribers. That went up faster than I thought it would. Because I think we just hit 17K. And then on Twitch, we have 15,812 subscribers. I want to hit 16K before the end of the year. So hopefully you can help me out. If you did enjoy this content, follow me on all of those locations. And if you are already following me on Twitch and subscribe to me on both of the YouTubes, then you can enter to win a Corsair, which is available all of this month for up until November. Yeah, it's an LTI Corsair with a game package attached, courtesy of CIG. Thank you, CIG, for that. Thank you, Ulf. Love you. Mwah. And we'll be giving shit tons of things away for this entire week, so make sure you're watching this as well. And that's the best way to follow me, or best way to make sure and to know when I'm live is to follow me on Twitch, subscribe to those other YouTubes. They'll definitely help you out. With that all being said, I'm Paul. I'm tired. You've been great. Deep has been nuts. And I will see you all tomorrow. Like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. Happy IAE. Let's do it.